Here's GDP growth. Greenhouse gases that causes climate change, cut down rainforests, and depleted waters. Okay, but can't we just stop growth? Well, if GDP would stop increasing and we didn't do any changes, lots of people would be unemployed and poverty and public debt would increase. So we have a dilemma, the dilemma of growth. This is the greenhouse gas emissions of consumption in Sweden. Emissions nationally has actually sunk between the year 2000 and 2008, but the emissions abroad increase more. This is the import of stuff to Sweden. And here's how much that's being thrown away. One good thing is that Swedes are getting better and better at recycling. It can be seen here. But it's not enough if emissions are to be reduced globally. We need to be better at reusing, repairing, and rent stuff instead of owning. So what about services? Well, the type of personal services where you pay someone for their time is often really sustainable consumption. For example, getting a haircut or a massage. The same applies to public services such as healthcare and teachers. Unfortunately, this kind of personal services are getting more expensive in relation to the material stuff we buy. Look. So why is this? Remember Henry Ford? He came up with the so-called assembly line principle, with the T Ford, the first mass-produced car. This way of making things has continued, and we're making stuff faster, more efficiently, and therefore cheaper. But personal services cannot be streamlined as easily. The nurses cannot run faster in the hallway every year, and a quicker massage isn't really what we want, is it? So, does growth make us happier? Here's GDP growth in the US the last decades. And here's how happy people say they are. Many people say they have a lack of time. Stress is a major problem. Here's a scenario of the economy in Canada, where GDP grows slowly and then level off. But unemployment, poverty, and debt does not increase, nor does greenhouse gas emissions, despite the low GDP growth. So how's this accomplished? The key factors are a carbon tax or a system of emission trading, and shorter working hours. So, is this a future worth fighting for?